said, but for you children, you should understand that if two guys, 10 years apart, are saying the same thing, it is very important. Good morning. Today we celebrate Veterans Day on the 101st anniversary of the armistice that ended the First World War. It was known as the Great War, the war to end all wars. On the 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month, the battlefields of war-torn Europe fell silent after more than 4 years of profound destruction, claiming nearly 38 million lives in total. This day is not remembered each year as a day of victory, but rather a day that reminds us of the men and women that have made victory possible. It is a day we as a nation keep in the forefront of our hearts and minds, our prayers for the men and women who have bravely served, sacrificed, believed in, and fought for a set of ideals that we all hold dear in our hearts: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We call this the American dream. Without our nation's veterans, the American dream would not exist. Whether they call themselves soldier, sailor, airman, or Marine, these veterans have secured our inalienable rights. When young patriots enlist, they do so typically for personal reasons and to protect and make proud those close to them. After donning the uniform, they quickly realize that they are part of something greater than self. They train, sacrifice, and fight for not just those they left behind, but for the newest brothers and sisters to their left and to their right. They are strengthened by the bonds of service, brothers and sisters in arms. Veterans display the values of the American spirit in all that they do: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. It is these values that inspire Martin Treptow, a soldier from the Great War. They found on his body a diary. Inside the front cover, he wrote, "My pledge. America must win this war. Therefore I will work. I will save. I will sacrifice. I will endure. I will fight cheerfully and do my utmost, as if the issue of the whole struggle depended on me alone." His dedication to duty, to the mission, to his country has never been outmatched. His diary was found on his body after he was killed trying to carry a message between battalions from heavy artillery fire. His bravery and inspired spirit reflect what most veterans feel when they are faced with the most challenging moments in life. In the words of former President Ronald Reagan, "There is no weapon more formidable as the will and moral courage of free men and women." Veterans know better than anyone else the price of freedom, for they have suffered the scars of war. We can offer them no better tribute than to protect what they have won for us. One for us, you veterans have. From the Great War to World War II, to Korea, to Vietnam, the Cold War, the Gulf War, a war on terror. In every case, whenever freedom was threatened, gallant men and women have risked and given their lives by swearing an oath to protect and defend this great nation. This is what has always made America exceptional: the generations of patriots who dedicated themselves to the defense of the United States and our freedom. Regardless of which branch our veterans have served in, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, or the Coast Guard, Veterans Day belongs to all of you and all of them, just as it belongs to the vast generations of patriots who came before. From the Minutemen who won our independence to today's warriors turning back aggression around the world, the lineage of Americans willing to risk their lives for this land and the people they love is very long. Our veterans have served with honor and dignity. They have served in different places in many different ways. They have not only fought our wars, but they have preserved the peace in faraway lands and here at home. They have lived uncommon lives under a common banner: a love of country and service to their fellow man. We will never forget our veterans, nor will we ever forget our POWs or MIAs who have yet to be accounted for. This is the solemn promise of a grateful nation. Soldiers of my generation have had the opportunity to serve and volunteer. We were not drafted or forced to join. It was not our right, but our privilege. You see, an average of only 3 out of 10 Americans are qualified morally, physically, and mentally. And out of those 3, less than 1 will volunteer to serve this great nation. Less than one will want to be part of something greater than self. Less than one will know the price of freedom. In this room today, it may not seem uncommon to be a veteran, but I assure you, this group of veterans assembled here before us are truly a special group of people, bound together by a brotherhood, their bonds forged in fire. While some of them may be generations apart, one thing remains the same: their American fighting spirit. Our town, Prairie Grove, is fortunate to have so many that were willing to serve. It is a testament to the values of the community and why my family and I have chosen to call Prairie Grove our home. I'm originally from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's about 40 miles southwest of Philadelphia, the birthplace of our nation. In my 19 years of service, I've been stationed all over the country. I've traveled to many corners of the world. I've served as an infantryman, a military police officer, and today I serve as a recruiting station commander. It has been my responsibility to help find and inspire young men and women to be more, to help them understand that freedom isn't free, that the price of freedom is paid for with the strength and courage that brave men and women who, if called upon, will sacrifice much so that others can sleep soundly without the fear of oppression or persecution, just like the men and women seated before me. These young men and women will enlist with the fear of the unknown, because there is no antidote to describe what it feels like to put on the uniform. They get to represent Old Glory herself and help bring freedom to parts of the world that have never truly felt what it is to be free. Today, the Army is launching a new campaign that will help inspire new generations of soldiers. They ask, what is your warrior? The Army, America's largest branch of service, wants to inspire the next generation of veterans to chase their American dream. With 150 unique career fields over 8 broad specialty areas, the Army has something to offer those brave enough to volunteer. Gone are the days that the service is something you do if you don't have a plan. Gone are the days that the service is in lieu of going to college. The Army is focused on finding highly qualified individuals who can strengthen our team. The Army expects you to continue to self-develop. It is an implied task that you expand your educational aspirations, especially if you want to be promoted past the ranks of sergeant and beyond. Army training does translate to college credits. The Army pays for 6 academic classes a year without soldiers having to use their GI Bill. I know this because in 2016 I graduated from college with a business degree using the tuition assistance program. Currently, I'm using the tuition assistance program to obtain my master's degree. In 9 months and 3 weeks, as I officially hit retirement status, I expect to have obtained that degree, thanks to the tuition assistance program. Thanks to the tuition assistance program, I've never used my GI Bill. Once you hit a certain point in your career, you can choose to give your educational benefits to your spouse or your children. My wife has already earned her degree, so I was able to give it to my children. My son Donnie and my daughters Zoe and Alexis will each get 12 academic months paid for when they go to college. This was my American dream. This was my American dream. To have a family and a nice home. To have a job where I get to help people and feel I have a purpose. To give my family everything they need and some of the things that they wanted. The Army has made that possible for me and so much more. While it has not been all flowers and fairy tales, I wouldn't change a thing. And in 7 months, 1 day, 6 hours, give or take 20 minutes, I will start my transition leave and be on retirement. I have found my warrior. My warrior is to teach and mentor those who aspire to be better today than they were yesterday. My warrior will not change when I step away June 12th. As of now, I aspire to be a school teacher. I will use that classroom to not just teach academics, but to teach them that anyone, including any of you here today, can accomplish anything that you put your mind to. You must fight for it. You must work for it. You must earn it. This life owes you nothing, but you owe everything to your life. Chase your dreams. I've been able to chase mine because of the veterans that have come before me. Your lessons learned in the war and the training that you have Your lessons learned in the war and in training have had a direct effect on improving the Army quality of life. Your sacrifices in peacetime and in war have not and will not be forgotten. While I know Veterans Day is far too often, while I know it's Veterans Day, far too often the families of our veterans get overshadowed by their loved ones' service. But we must be mindful that they too have served and sacrificed and deserve our thanks and admiration. Soldiers surely would struggle without the love and support they get from the home front. Parents love absolutely. They endure the heartache of their soldier being put in harm's way, being away from home for long periods of time and having to live with the knowledge that their choice to serve could lead to their ultimate sacrifice. Parents don't volunteer for that. It was not their choice, but their sacrifice. Spouses love unconditionally. They soothe our biggest fears, calm our nerves, cool our tempers, and soften our hearts. My wife, a mother of 3 and a Navy veteran herself, has been my rock. She has been the foundation from which I've built my success. It has been her support that helped me survive Afghanistan. She ensured that our 11-month-old son would be cared for completely, and they would both be waiting for me upon my return in a year, allowing me to focus on my mission at hand. She supported me continuing my education and was crucial in my ability to achieve my college degree, something that seemed far out of reach for much of my life. She, like all the spouses of soldiers, have sacrificed many moments to ensure that the soldier at home had a home to come home to. But her greatest gift to me was our 3 children, Donnie, Zoe, and Alexa. It is, in my opinion, the children of the soldiers who sacrifice the most. It is hard for children to understand why their soldier is always working, or why they're quick to temper in chaos. It's hard for them to understand that as a soldier you spend time away so others can live freely in happiness, all while they live in the loneliness and sadness in their soldier's absence. They are adults before they truly understand that the soldier was hard on them because they knew life would be harder, and they wanted them to be stronger both physically and mentally. They survived, moving every few years, new homes, new schools, and new friends. While that in itself can be exciting, they are saddened when they have to leave their friends and the comforts of the familiarity. Doing those things as an adult is hard, so I can't imagine what it's like for them. I, like most soldiers who are parents, struggle with the burden they bear. It is not their choice, but I tell you they are my heroes because they have never given up and they have always quickly adapted and overcame whatever my service has thrown at them. In times of great peril, our veterans have kept the faith. They have kept us free and enabled America to keep the faith with the rest of the world. Our Army today has ensured our force is trained, manned, and equipped to meet global security challenges that threaten national security. We prepare for an uncertain world and uncertain times. While no right-thinking person wants war, we believe a ready and resilient Army is the best chance for peace. The Army is committed to building and maintaining agile and adaptive Army that can deter and defeat any aggressors. We must and we will always be ready to fight and win our nation's wars. It is a demanding challenge for sure, but it's surely how we will keep the faith with those veterans who have already given us so much. At the same time, we are also committed to the lifelong success of our soldiers, veterans, and their families by continuing to provide them access to employment opportunities, education, and health care, both during and after military service. Tributes like this one today will fall hollow if we as an Army and we as a nation do not take the necessary actions to ensure veterans have access to care and resources they not only deserve, but have rightfully earned. We have a program called Soldier for Life. It's a program that supports veterans by connecting civilian industry with transitioning soldiers and families. National companies have committed to hiring and training tens of thousands of Army reservists, veterans, and their spouses through this program. Many other similar initiatives exist throughout the Army, our sister services, and other federal agencies and industry partners. Again, this is how we pay our debt, by giving more opportunities for those who have sacrificed for the rest of us. Still much work remains to be done to enhance access to such resources and support. I would urge you all here today to do what you can to support the efforts and remember that veterans still have much to offer our great nation. And I mean that sincerely. Veterans are highly qualified, highly motivated men and women with the knowledge and skills and attributes that can be essential for any business. Our veterans are some of the most talented, dedicated, capable, and driven professionals in the world. As they leave our ranks, they take with them the knowledge gained from earning academic degrees, certifications, and mastering technical skills. Right now, all around the country, veterans serve as teachers, doctors, engineers, social workers, community leaders, first responders, and even elected officials. They continue to serve this country, this community, by making positive impacts, building stronger futures and inspiring future generations to come. Once a soldier, always a soldier. That's how it should be. We have a duty to support them. All Americans are charged with the responsibility to ensure service and sacrifice of our veterans are not forgotten, but continuously echoed in our respective communities across the nation and the world. There's a saying that goes, soldiers are not in the Army, they are the Army. Our tanks and helicopters and howitzers are nothing without the trusted professionals to make them work. And those soldiers are a direct reflection of what's best about America. In fact, they are America. They are our heart, the soul, and the spirit of the greatest nation in the world. And so are our veterans. I personally want to say thank you to all the veterans here today. Like I said before, it's because of you I've had the opportunity to volunteer and serve this country. It was your service and patriotism that paved the way for today's soldiers. I will tell your soldiers for generations. I will tell your stories for generations to come. I will not forget, nor will I allow our country to forget your service and your sacrifice. I will leave you with one quote from President Reagan. Some people live an entire lifetime and wonder if they've made a difference in the world. A veteran doesn't have that problem. Happy Veterans Day.